All right, ladies and gentlemen, the interview you've been waiting for, President Donald J. Trump. All right, absolutely honored to welcome back to the show for the third time, President Donald J. Trump. Mr. President, what an honor. Thank you for returning to the show. We deeply appreciate it.
Well, I'm proud of your show. You're doing best, one of the best. And
thank you.
Come a long way. You did a good job at Secret Service, but you come a long way.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, it was weird when you were kind enough to have me in the Oval Office. I told you, I used to sit outside that door and protect other presidents, and now I'm in here talking to you, so it was a great honor. I appreciate it. Mr. President, I want to...
You're going in the right direction. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. I'm getting a little concerned. I have to be candid with you. I'm seeing all these reports from these leftist, anti-Trump, never-Trump, lunatic groups talking about things like post-election chaos. One of them, this Transition Integrity Project, talking about a street fight, not a legal one. By the way, that's a quote from them after the election. Are you concerned about this? I know a lot of my listeners are, and I am. I've been covering it for the last few days. The Democrats will not accept the results of this election if you happen to get reelected and pull this out?
Well, they never accepted the results of the last election, Dan. And, if you remember that famous question where Hillary asked me, Hillary Clinton, crooked Hillary, and she is crooked, where she asked me the question about, would you accept the results? And I always tell, I didn't give exactly a perfect answer. I sort of, I shrugged my shoulder. I knew what I was dealing with. But it ended up that she didn't accept the results. And actually she did. She got beaten soundly. It was 306 to 223. That's a lot. She lost a lot. And she lost states that that haven't been lost in decades. But frankly, such a different candidate from Joe. You have a smart one and a dummy. Such a different candidate, but I think he's a little more popular. I don't know why, because I don't understand actually why, but so I think that they're going to do something, Dan. Something's going to happen, but you know what they're doing? They're trying to screw it all up with the ballots. So they have, I guess I've heard numbers from 50 to 80 million unsolicited ballots. That's unsolicited. People aren't asking for them, and they get socked with a ballot. And we're suing in a lot of courts and doing not badly. You saw we had unrelated. We had some pretty good things happen yesterday, and a couple of days ago we had Philadelphia, Pennsylvania unlocked because they had a shutdown. The governor has it totally shut down. Yeah, primarily so that we can look as bad as possible for the election, but the numbers are fantastic. No, I see something, Dan, and I see it having to do with the ballots. Even these little elections are all screwed up. You look at Carolyn Maloney in New York, a small congressional vote, and they're way off. They have no idea what they're doing. They should have never declared her a winner because the other guy could have won very easily. They had so many missing ballots and fraudulent ballots. So I think that's the route they're going. They're going to try and mess it up. We have way greater enthusiasm. We have a great ground game. You saw that last night. I mean, you saw the people that showed up. We went to Wisconsin, and it was incredible. Tonight I'm going to Minnesota, and I hear it's like people are already, for 2 days, they're already planted out with their tents and everything else. It's the enthusiasm level is even more than it was 4 years ago, Dan. You probably see that.
Yeah, I always joke that there are more people online for the bathroom at your rallies than show up at a Biden rally. It's pretty sad to watch. But, just to back up to this question, even Peggy Noonan, who's, can be a relatively sober analyst. I wouldn't call her exactly a big fan of President Trump. I'm obviously a supporter. I don't think my colors are on my sleeve right there. But Peggy Noonan, even this morning in an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal, is worried about the potential for violence by people not willing to accept the results of this election afterwards. Is your administration concerned about that?
We want to win, and once we win, we'll take care of business. We are winning now. We have polls. Our polls show that we're winning in Wisconsin. We're winning. I mean, we're winning in Arizona, and yet the New York Times comes out with a poll that we're 9 down. Okay, we're not 9 down. These are crooked polls. These polls are crooked. They're suppression polls meant to depress the voter and even the candidate. Yeah. And we didn't get too depressed last time. Last time it was worse. We were down in 8 going into Election Day. We were down in 8 or 9 swing states, right? We were down in every swing state. Yeah. We won every one of them. Every single one of them we won. Yeah. And if you look at the Washington Post poll, which is always terrible, except for the final day of election, but by that time it didn't matter last time. but they put us down 10, 12, 14, 18 last time, and then we won the election. And they were very embarrassed for a day, and then they get back on, they get good for about a week. They apologize to everybody for such bad service, for such bad reporting. New York Times actually apologized for such bad reporting. I said, well, that's good. You know what? That's good. Now we can have a nice, normal, good newspaper. And within 2 weeks, they were back to their old stuff. So, no, I think we're doing well. I think we're up in virtually every state. The real numbers, and we have real pollsters, too. And these are the real numbers. We got a 52 or 53 today in Rasmussen, which was very accurate last time. Remember, we used to talk about Rasmussen. They had 2 or 3 accurate polls last time, and all 3 of them I'm up. And that's with the popular vote, which is, I don't even go for it. You got to go with what they have. And, Hillary used to campaign all the time in California in places that she shouldn't have been campaigning. Someday they'll understand that Bill Clinton was right. He knew exactly what was going to happen. He was the one that predicted what was going to happen.
Yeah, he's much savvier politically than she is. Mr. President, on the social media front, and disclosure, I have a relationship with a competitor to the social media platforms, but Twitter and Facebook and others, I've seen of them upping the ante on what I perceive to be attacks on conservatives. Twitter specifically on your account. They seem to fact check and put little disclaimers on your account. Meanwhile, Joe Biden continues to repeat false attacks endlessly on his Twitter account. I'm concerned, and I think a lot of other people are out there. I saw a question came in from my audience. What would happen in this post-election period? Say it's close, and it's a few days or maybe a week or so before we know the results of the election, and yet your political people doing regular analysis say, hey, listen, I think we won. What would stop Twitter from basically suspending your account, not letting you get information out there? And what would you do if that was the case?
Well, I take it right to the Supreme Court. They're under the gun. They are, for instance, they have a trending section, right? Trending. Now, I know what a trend is. A trend is something I know probably better than anybody, including them. They're always putting me trending, and I'm always like number 1, 2, 3, 4, and oftentimes I'm many of the trends. But it's only negative. I've done very positive things, like when I get nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize, it trends in a negative way. In other words, why would they nominate him? He only created peace in the Middle East. I'm in the process of doing that. Why would he do a thing like that? Whereas they nominate, Obama gets his nomination a couple of weeks in, like at the beginning, and he had no idea why. Why did they do it? And, now they ask that same question, why did they do it? But the trending in Twitter is just some guy, I think I know who it is, just picking whatever he can, like hydroxychloroquine. They had it trending for weeks and weeks and weeks. That's not a trend. They just tried to make us look bad, even though it's gotten some rave reviews and doctors are loving it more than ever. Doctors are loving it more than ever. I took it for a while, for 2 weeks, just in case. We had a couple of breakouts in the White House, and I said, get me something fast. And I took it, and for 2 weeks, absolutely no, the good news, I didn't get it, but no impact or anything. It's very safe. It's been out for 50 years for a different problem, malaria, lupus, et cetera. But you have doctors swear, but they had this thing trending in a very negative way. I don't even know why would they be so against it. But they had it trending in a very, very negative way for many weeks. Number 1 trend. Now, you and I know in a pop culture, hydroxychloroquine is not going to be your number 1 trend. Maybe for a night or half a night or an hour, but they had it up there forever. Yeah. And it's just a phony trend. I mean, look, it's a phony deal. And if they ever did anything like that, we would sue them under Section 230. We would sue them and do everything we could to get rid of Section 230. The funny thing is, I protect them more than the Democrats. The Democrats hate them. I actually protect them because I want to see great companies. I don't want to have to see China take over. And, I don't want to see China have the biggest. And I actually protect them much more than the Democrats. The Democrats, I think, other than we would do it, the Democrats would want to repeal Section 230. If we repeal Section 230, all of those companies go out of business. They go out of business because we take away their liability shield.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a real shame that we're the defenders of free speech and we seem to be the focus of a lot of their attacks. I really appreciate your patience while we take this short commercial break from our interview with President Trump. Today's show also brought to you by our friends at Omax. Living with chronic pain is the worst. I live with it every day. I have really horrible arthritis. It stinks. It can prevent you from sleeping, relaxing, working out, even walking around sometimes. It's ongoing for a few weeks. For some people have to live with it. I know with me, I'd be lost without Omax. If you're looking to get rid of nagging muscle and joint pain like I have immediately while providing long-lasting recovery, then you need to try the natural breakthrough pain relief solution, Cryo-Free CBD Roll-On, developed by Omax Health. This is the go-to in my house. Paul and I, we're not that old, but we're getting up there. We're beat up. We work out a lot. We would be lost without their Roll-On product. This non-prescription, triple-action pain relief Roll-On is specifically formulated to block pain receptors, reduce inflammation, and improve muscle and joint flexibility. The best part, it's 100% natural. CBD-powered remedy. It works its magic within 10 minutes of application. This stuff is the real deal. Relief lasts up to 8 hours, much longer than the over-the-counter products. Roll it on and feel that icy cool feel. We love it. Omax Health is offering my listeners 20% off a full bottle of Cryo-Free CBD Pain Relief Roll-On. This discount also applies towards any product site-wide. Just go to omaxhealth.com today and enter code Bongino. That's Omax, OMAXhealth.com, and enter code Bongino. Get 20% off. They've got 95% five-star reviews. Anyone from athletes to grandma can benefit from this immediate pain relief. Simply roll it over where it hurts and ice out the pain. No messy creams or horrible fragrances like some of those other products. CryoFreeze works within 10 minutes of application, improving physical training capability, recovery, and performance. Go to omaxhealth.com, enter code Bongino, get 20% off CryoFreeze and site-wide. You won't regret it. I'm telling you, this product's the real deal. omaxhealth.com, enter code Bongino to get 20% off and site-wide. Today's show also brought to you by our friends at Bravo Company Manufacturing. Ladies and gentlemen, they've been a longtime sponsor of our show. If you're in the market for a high-quality firearm, Bravo Company Manufacturing is the only place to go. They do not make sporting rifles, folks. If you want a sporting rifle, you're a hunter, that's great. Shooting sports are fantastic. I love them. That's not what they make. They make life-saving equipment. Bravo Company Manufacturing assumes that when a rifle leaves their shop, it will be used, God forbid, in a life-or-death situation by a responsible citizen, law enforcement officer, or a soldier overseas. Quality is the only thing that matters to them. Every component of a BCM rifle is hand-assembled and tested by Americans in Heartland, Wisconsin to a life-saving standard. They put their people before their products. I have two. These are the finest rifles out there. On point, function every single time. Every single time. God forbid it's not a paper target one day. If you want to learn more about Bravo Company, I highly suggest you go to BravoCompanyMFG.com. That's BravoCompanyMFG.com for the finest rifles in the business. We can discover more about their products, special offers, and some upcoming news. Again, that's BravoCompanyMFG.com. You need more convincing? Check out their YouTube channel. It's terrific. YouTube.com/BravoCompanyUSA. Check them out today. All right, back to my interview with President Donald Trump. Mr. President, just switching gears a minute here. The Mueller probe, which was investigating fake collusion, a scheme, a
totally
scam.
Fake.
Totally made up, fabricated. I've been on this for 3 years. It really ticks me off, as you know. So we just found out that the corrupt Mueller team, when asked for the information on their phones, that they wiped out their phones. And not only that, Mr. President, they put the phones in airplane mode first so they couldn't be remotely accessed, just to be sure nobody saw what they were talking about over their phones. Now, when you combine that with the fact that we now know for a fact the Mueller team, the minute they started, knew collusion was a hoax because they interviewed Steele's sources who basically said it was a hoax. How does that make you feel that they put you through hell?
Days.
Yeah, they knew it right away.
A few days. It went on for 2 years.
Yeah. How does that make you feel with the phones being wiped out?
I think it's terrible. I don't think the Hillary thing is finished either, by the way, where she deleted 33,000 emails. Can you imagine what she said on those emails about classified information? Yeah. And I mean, I just read an article. It looks like Bolton's got himself some big problems, too. He goes out. He was a lowlife. All he wanted to do is go to war with everybody. Total lowlife. And, he comes in. And I knew what I was getting. I was getting a maniac. Actually, I used him. Anytime you brought him into a negotiation with another country, they got scared because it meant, because he's crazy. And it meant you wanted to go to war. And that was okay. Never said anything. He'd sit in the corner. I hear he's in big trouble, too, classified information. And just read the papers. You see it. I like to refer to the papers because I let Bill Barr handle stuff, and I don't get involved. I could get involved. I could absolutely get involved. And then someday I might. We'll see how it all comes out. Someday I might, but I don't get involved. I let Bill Barr and Justice handle everything. What they're doing to General Flynn is a disgrace. I mean, what General Flynn did, if you think about it, he didn't lie at all. The FBI lied. They lied. They set him up. And
that's right.
That he has to go through this is incredible. But what really is bad is when you look at Weissman and all these people, and look at what we found already with the insurance policy with Strzok and his lover, Lisa Page, right? That insurance policy was, to me, so devastating that that's okay. She's going to win. But in case she doesn't, we have an insurance policy. That only means one thing. It means exactly what we went through. And before the election and after, substantially before the election and after. And I would say after is even worse, right? Because, after I won the election and now they can't even talk about campaigning or anything. And this had nothing to do with campaigning. These people are stone cold crooked. These were bad apples. These were sick degenerates. And now what they've done is they got caught with big stuff. Don't forget, they put people in jail and they prosecuted people for telling a lie. And in many cases, it's like something that took place a long time ago. I mean, could you tell do you remember what you said on your cell phone or on a tweet 3 years ago, Dan? And they said...
I don't remember what I said last night.
Yeah, how about like tomorrow?
Right.
But he said different. He said different things. He said something different that he did on a tweet 3.5 years ago. Right. We should immediately prosecute. Here are people that took evidence, tremendous amounts. Can you imagine what they were saying? We have great tweets, but can you imagine the ones that were erased were even more so? What they were saying is incredible. Now, we don't know that we're ever going to get the tweets. Like in Hillary's case, she got a subpoena from the United States Congress. You can't do better than that, right? She said, screw you. We're going to delete it. We're deleting everything. After she got the tweet. Her lawyer did it too. Her lawyer should go to jail, and she should go to jail. Now, let's see what happens. But I bring it up all the time. I say, forget about the emails. Forget about finding them. I think they're in the State Department. I'm disappointed that the State Department hasn't produced them, if you want to know the truth. But I think they're in the State Department. And I think Christopher Wray could produce them also very easily. But he's chosen not to look too hard, I guess. But I think the FBI has them. And by the way, we have somebody fantastic in John Ratcliffe. He's doing a fantastic job. Rick Grinnell was a superstar.
Oh,
Rick
Grinnell's
Grinnell was
terrific
incredible.
Too. Yeah. Christopher Wray's been a huge disappointment. I'm not a big fan of Christopher Wray at all. I'm hoping to get to that in a second. But, Mr. President, you got a debate coming up. Can I ask you a personal favor, please? I am really tired. I'm in Florida, and Biden is running an ad that's a lie. It's an easily disproven lie that he is not going to hike taxes if you make less than $400,000 a year. That's false.
It's a lie.
The Trump tax cuts, your tax cuts, cut taxes for the middle class. Anyone can look it up online. It's not a mystery. Biden is on tape repeatedly, multiple times saying he's going to take away those tax cuts for the middle class. He is lying. The ad is false. In this debate, can you please put this guy, get him on the carpet and get an answer? He's lying.
Do that. No, he lies. The worst lie was about the soldiers, that I stood over a grave and called them suckers and losers in front of a hole. That was the worst thing I have never had. That's called disinformation. You know that better than anybody.
Yeah.
They are running a total disinformation. They make it claim. It's all made up. Like they got that from Clinton's friend, right? From the stupid magazine, which is dying. But they took this and they put ads out. And I said, because of that, the gloves come off. Joe has had it. Joe was a dumb guy a long time ago. He was hale and hearty. That's all he had going. He was hale and hearty. He was a toucher. He was a feeler. And a long time ago, he was a warm kind of a guy, but dumb as a rock. I once asked a certain senator that was on their side, believe it or not. I got along with both of them. When I was in private, I got along with both. Equal opportunity. I said, who's the smartest guy in the Senate? Gave me a name. I said, who's the dumbest? He said, oh, Joe. I said, Joe who? Joe Biden. He's the dumbest guy in the Senate. Now, this was in prime time. This is probably 25 years ago. This is in prime time. Who's the dumbest guy in the Senate? Joe Biden. That was prime time. Now he's probably 30-40% of what he was. He's a disaster. And this guy can't be dealing with President Xi and Putin and Kim Jong-un. We will be a laughing stock throughout the world if he ever got in. And the only reason I talk that way, I would never do that, Dan, but when he put the ad in the Soldier, so they knew it was phony. You know, we had 28 witnesses step forward to say it was a false statement. It was totally false, the article. They had a source. There was no source. But we had 28 sources that are out in the public saying it, okay, including generals. So when he did that, I said, that's okay. Now I can say the real truth. This is a dumb human being. He always was. But now he's way off his game. And they shouldn't allow him to be president. He's going to destroy our country. He has no idea. He was for fracking last night, and yet if you watch the debates, he was against it every time.
On the record.
He can say, I was against, he was strongly against fracking. He said, did you hear me? I am against it. Okay. 3 weeks later, he's saying, I'm in favor of fracking. Now he took a middle ground because it got so heated for him. Now what's happening is when he does that, the radical left is going to vote for me because they like my stance on trade. They don't like me, and they don't like a lot of other things I'm saying, but they do love me on trade because I'm the best ever in the history of our country on trade. Because I know that every foreign country, especially our allies, but every foreign country kills us on trade. And I've stopped it. I've taken tens of billions from China and all that stuff. I gave it to the farmers. I gave it to the Treasury. But look what I'm doing with TikTok. I mean, nobody would have done anything with TikTok. And, you know, we'll see how that all plays out. We have some great companies want it. But if it doesn't work out, they're gone. So a lot of things are happening. But when he made that vicious ad and put it, knowing it was a phony deal, he did that. And that's what they're doing. They're doing disinformation. They make up a lie, like about taxes. They make up a lie about Social Security. I'm the one protecting Social Security. He's going to destroy it because of what he's doing. Because of what he's doing, if you look at what they'll destroy this country. This country, they're going to raise taxes massively. $4 trillion. He admits to $4 trillion. When you admit to $4 trillion, that means it's going up more. You know, you're not admitting on the high side. So he admits to $4 trillion. This country is going to have a great year next year if I'm elected. Stocks are going up. The biggest headwind on stocks, you know, the stocks are just about at a record. The biggest headwind is the possibility he could get elected. You will have a crash. You will have a depression like you've never seen before in this country. And I'm good at that stuff. Predicting.
I cover on my Friday show, Mr. President, the numbers for your administration, the economic numbers before the plague hit, that median income household wealth grew 50% the year before the plague under your administration, which is more than
the best numbers in history.
More than the entire 8 years under Obama. So they can, Mr. President, I know you've got to run. Last question for you. Former Vice President Biden's not only lied about middle-class tax hikes and fracking on the record, we can watch the videos ourselves, but he's also lying about his prior statements to redirect funding away from the police, where he responded absolutely if he would do that. Now we have the news that Kamala Harris promoted this Minnesota Freedom Fund that bailed out a sex offender who attacked a young girl. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I talked about it last night. We had a tremendous rally in Wisconsin last night. I'm going to Minnesota tonight. We have a chance to win Minnesota, not traditionally Republican, but because of what I did in Minneapolis. You know, we sent in the guard, and we stopped it. That was crazy what was going. They were going to rip. That city wasn't going to exist. And we said, just before we get off, by the way, it's everyone, blue states' problems. They have tremendous crime. You take a look. It's not red states. We don't have red states. The red states are doing great, meaning Republicans are doing great. The Democrats have allowed Chicago, New York. Look at New York, our beautiful New York that you love, that I love.
Yeah.
Crime up 300% in some cases, 158%. Chicago, 57 people shot last weekend with 8 dying. Now, we're pulling out of Afghanistan. We're almost out. We're just about out of everything. And, we're getting very close to getting out totally. Should have never been there, by the way. But we're pulling out. But you don't have shootings where 8 people died and 50 people got shot. And you're talking about Chicago, run by a Democrat mayor, radical left, has no clue whatsoever. And we could stop that, but they don't want to help. I mean, the greatest would be Portland. I could stop that in a half hour. That's easy. They're anarchists. They're together. They're spoiled kids for the most part. They live in the basement of their mother's home. and farther.
So true.
And some of them are rich, but they have a lot of padding because they want to look like your muscles, but they don't have your muscles. They put padding in their sleeves. They come in with the black jackets,
like linebackers, right?
And they start swinging sticks at people, bad sticks, really bad sticks. But they start swinging bats and sticks, and then you have Christopher saying, it's an ideology. No,
I can't believe that. This is the FBI director. Yeah. I can't believe he said that.
It's a very sad thing. It's very sad. It's an incorrect statement. Sometimes they have to correct people, but it's an incorrect statement. No, these are thugs, anarchists. They're agitators. They're bad people. They'd like to see an overthrow. That's not going to happen. No, the country has great spirit. You know what was happening? It was coming together. We had the best numbers in the history of our country, and it was actually starting to unify. And then we got hit with the China plague. But we had the best numbers in the history of our country, and it was coming together. People say, when can you unify? Success will unify. Next year, we're going to have a better year than we had last year. You watch. And, you see it happening already. It's a super V. And but, the Democrats are in our way. They have Pennsylvania's closed down. North Carolina's closed down. Michigan's closed down. These states are closed down. It's a horrible thing, what they're doing. They shouldn't be doing it. But that's the story. But I am so proud of you. I knew you when you were not quite as successful. I think we can say that.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, back in the day. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm proud of the job you did. You've been incredible. From day one, you get it. And I think big things are happening on the front that you're most interested in.
Thank you. Yeah, I hope so. Mr. President, I just want to exit by thanking you on behalf of me and my audience for supporting alternative media. You're one of the few presidents who's seen outside of the box, that it's not about ABC, NBC, and CBS all the time. There are digital shows and your use of social media. It's really appreciated that you recognize that and support the little guys out there getting the message out. Maybe not so little anymore, but we were when you first came on. So I really appreciate it.
It's become powerful because the mainstream or lamestream media, as I say, is crooked. It's 100%, even more crooked than Hillary Clinton. It's crooked. I mean, it's just really terrible. It's like I watched the Joe Biden thing, and it was like softball. I've been interviewed by Anderson Cooper many times. Right. Never easy. I never saw anything. It was just served up, and then I did Stephanopoulos, and I didn't ask for anything. I don't ask for anything. I just go and do it. I think we did a good job. Got very good reviews. But when you look at it, the media is crooked, 100%. So this is the way we can get our voice out. I have hundreds of millions of followers, and it's more than they have, a lot more than they have, and you're doing so great, and you're a very important source of information, Dan. Your show's a very important show, so I congratulate you.
Thank you, sir. It's been an honor to have you, President Donald J. Trump. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, my friend. Take care of yourself, Dan. See you soon.
All right.
Bye.
Take care.